Let's say, for example, people like to talk about the radicalization against the president. I don't actually think that's even valid anymore because the president himself is celebrating when people die. So how does that work? And I know that two wrongs don't make a right, and I know that doesn't rationalize or justify or make acceptable murder or an assassination, especially of the nation's leader. But you think about the kind of guy that Trump has become. He wasn't always like this. Maybe there were shades of this.
If there were shades of this, that means he was always like this.
That had broken through, maybe aspects of his personality shined through and surfaced at one time or another. But you have to admit, Trump is totally unhinged now. And he's a completely different person. And now I would say he's just downright wicked. He's a downright wicked and evil leader. So, for example, when Robert Mueller dies, Trump is literally celebrating on Truth Social and saying, I'm glad he's dead. It's good news that this person has died because he was a terrible person. I don't know that I believe in karma, but I do believe that there are such a thing as cause and effect. And I'm not going to say that Trump saying that made a crazy person want to kill him. However, you do realize that there's a bit of a double standard. You can't defend every single thing that Trump says like that when Robert Reiner's kid killed his parents in a horrific, brutal, double homicide, murder-suicide, and Trump says, well, he hated Trump. He didn't like Trump, so that's funny. When Robert Mueller dies and Trump celebrates, when he compares himself to Jesus, when he says he's going to annihilate Persian civilization, can you really then turn around and say it's the left, it's everybody else that has made the rhetoric so toxic? You don't really have a leg to stand on anymore. You did. Maybe 10 years ago, there was a time when the left was absolutely powerful and it was not symmetrical at all. There was no equivalency at all. And the left wanted us dead and they were explicit about it. And right-wingers were pleading and begging for mercy and apologizing and just wanted to be understood. It's not really like that anymore. Let's be honest. And so I can actually empathize with the left a little bit. It does ring hollow when Melania Trump and Erica Kirk go on Twitter and they want to bitch about the rhetoric. We need to turn the temperature down. Oh, it's gotten so crazy. Well, look, it's kind of like you live by the sword, you die by the sword. You don't want to go on Twitter every day and say, I'm glad Robert Mueller is dead. I'm glad Robert Reiner got murdered by his son. We're going to annihilate Persian civilization. If you care about Epstein, I don't need your vote. You're an idiot. Like, if you're doing those kinds of things and then the left calls you a horrible person and a monster, again, I'm not trying to rationalize that or justify that.
You're not justifying or rationalizing it. You're just telling the truth. It is what it is. This guy's a horrible human being. He is terrible. I mean, he doesn't even remember what he says half the time.
That in any way. I don't believe murder is ever the solution. I'm a Christian. And I don't believe that two wrongs make a right. It doesn't justify, because it is true that the left, their rhetoric is violent and they want me dead. They tried to kill me too. And they tried to kill Trump and they killed Charlie Kirk. But in order to have the moral high ground, here's the rub. You can't go on Twitter then and say, oh, it's this rhetoric. We all need to relax and turn the temperature down. You can't really do that.
Yeah, but do we know that this guy was radical left? Do we know that? I mean, I know that's what the internet is saying. Do we actually know if he is? Yeah, I mean, he did it. The way he did it was dumb. That has Republican written all over it. That has Republican written all over it. Like, most of the dumb stuff that happens, if you do dumb stuff, it's usually them, meatheads. And from the pictures that I seen, he looked like a total meathead, so I don't know.
So we're all supposed to believe that this is a horrible atrocity. We're all supposed to be so broken up about this. How long did it take after this incident that then all the pro-Trump influencers turned it into a social media campaign? This is what I noticed.
That was like 10 minutes. We need a fucking ballroom. This is why we need a fucking ballroom. Like, nobody cares. If this guy would have had like some real firearms, if he would have came in with some real stuff, he probably could have did some damage. But he came in like a meathead. And the first thing that Trump says is, I mean, it's kind of why we need the ballroom. We need the ballroom for this. These type of things, the ballroom is needed.
Immediately after the assassination attempt, it was literally every pro-Trump influencer on Twitter clearly got the memo. And I don't mean that in a manner of speaking. I don't mean that as a figure of speech. I mean, they literally got a memorandum. They literally got the memo. They're in a group chat. They're employed by one of these agencies, and they got sent the talking points and then money. They were told, all right, pro-Trump influencers, here's our next social campaign for $300. If you could just post the following message, and the message was, this is why we need a White House ballroom.
For $300? You gotta be fucking kidding me. $300. You got to do better than that if you're the fucking government. You know what's funny about that? You don't have like direct contact with fucking Elon Musk. Like, yo, you're the man on Twitter. You think you can shoot me some engagement? You think you could shoot me some impressions for free? You got to pay $300 to influencers on what, TikTok and come on, what are we doing here? You got the direct line to Elon. You got the direct line to Mark Zuckerberg. I don't think you need to be doing this. See, this is how corny they are. Super corny.
I'll read a sampling because it is so on the nose. It's so blatant. You can't even exaggerate it. Andrew Colvett from Turning Point USA writes, this is why President Trump needs to build the White House ballroom. Libs of TikTok says, this is why we need Trump's ballroom. Jack Posobiec, thank God President Trump is building a ballroom at the White House. See, so we switch that one around. Wall Street Maverick,
we need a ballroom.
We need the White House ballroom. Brylan Hollyhand, build the White House ballroom ASAP. Nick Adams, build the White House ballroom now. Randy Fine, we'd better never hear a peep from anyone complaining about a White House ballroom.
A ballroom.
All of those within hours of each other.
This whole fucking administration is corny as fuck, bro. I can't even this is corny. Let me just show you how fucking corny I can be. We need a fucking ballroom. I almost got killed. The third assassination attempt, and I almost got killed. This is why we need a ballroom. Just keep getting that ballroom. These guys are lame. Super lame.
That's not a coincidence. That's not like they all had the same idea. Do you know what that is? All of these people are being paid. Do you understand how this works? And now foreign governments, corporations, and political parties and entities, now they just pay influencers. This is a real thing.
$300.
This is not metaphor. This is how it works logistically. They pay influencers. They pay them hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars, sometimes more than that. It's completely unregulated. It's totally under the table. And it literally works like that. They say, we will pay you $3,000 if you post a TikTok And here's the script. And the script has to say this, this, and this. They tell the influencers, make it your own.
I wonder if Nick Fuentes got that same script. I wonder if he got the same one for $300. That's, you know what? That's kind of, I feel disrespected. Like, yo, $300? You got to do better than that. $300.
Say it in your own words, but we need this hashtag, and these are the points to emphasize, and these are the things that you have to say. You send us the TikTok. It's not even dependent on engagement. It's not dependent on how many people see it, like it, comment on it. It's just that they do it, and then they get the payout. That is what this is. So think of it. Some psycho goes to the White House ballroom to eliminate the entire government in the middle of a war after Trump has experienced 2 assassination attempts so far. His entire cabinet is in attendance. If this was a more sophisticated attacker, he would have wiped out the whole government and hundreds of other people.
I just said that.
Would have been successful if not for his own incompetence, because Secret Service has either stood down because of a grand conspiracy or they're just not that competent. Within minutes of the assassination attempt, at the same time that we're being told this moralizing about the rhetoric from the left and we have a problem and people are doing another drive-by cry at the cameras about the horror, this is so sad. Within hours of the shooting, we get a social campaign about what? The White House ballroom. The GOP is already shelling out their thousands of dollars. All right, Brylan Hollyhand. All right, Nick Adams, Jack Posobiec, Libs of TikTok. You know the drill. Here's our campaign. Build the ballroom.
Here's the thing. Trump, dude, if you got access to Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg and the guys right here at fucking at YouTube, I don't think you need to be paying $300 to try to get people to support your fucking ballroom. Just tell them to push out a little bit more impressions for you for free on the low. Like, yo, can you give me some free impressions? You know, what is it in California for 1,000 impressions? $20? Like, bro, you could get a few million impressions, dude. You got enough cash. What are you doing over here trying to pay $300 against you? Even, bro, Trump is even going cheap on impressions. You're even going cheap on impressions. You got, it's $20 for, if you get some TikTok ads or some Meta ads, it's $20 for 1,000 impressions in California or in the United States. So maybe 25 for the whole United States. And you're over here trying to go cheap. You're going cheap to try to get impressions for $300. What are we doing here? These guys are corny, man. These guys are super corny. Man, like, follow, subscribe for that, man.